All right, let's dive into something really powerful today. We're going to take a single famous verse from the Bible and just peel back the layers. Our whole goal here is to get to its deeper, really personal meaning, using our source material as our guide. So here it is, Matthew 21, verse 13. My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. Now, most of us know these words. We picture a specific historical moment. But what if it's not just about a temple thousands of years ago? What if this verse is actually a mirror meant to reflect the state of our own inner world, right here, right now? That's the journey we're on today. Okay, so let's start by breaking down that first part, the ideal, right? What does it really mean for a place to be called a house of prayer? See, our source material makes a really interesting point here. The phrase house of prayer isn't just describing an activity, something that happens inside. No, it's presented as the very name, the core identity, the actual definition of what the Lord's house is supposed to be. It's the place where heaven and earth truly meet. Now, to really get that, we have to understand the key words here, house and prayer, in a much, much deeper way. First, let's talk about the house. Yeah, on the surface, it's the temple in Jerusalem, but symbolically, it represents something way closer to home. It's our own inner state, our mind, our heart, our very soul. We are the house. And so what about prayer? Well, this is a game changer. It's not just saying words or asking for stuff. The source defines it as the worship that just naturally flows from a state of love and charity. It's an internal posture, a way of being that's rooted in selfless goodness, not a list of demands. Okay, now for the flip side, the stark contrast. If a house of prayer is this beautiful inner state of love, what corrupts it? What could possibly turn it into a den of thieves? Once again, we've got to look past the literal meaning. These thieves aren't common criminals. In this spiritual sense, they are the impulses or beliefs inside us that take divine truths and just twist them. They hijack sacred ideas to justify selfish or false ways of thinking and living. They're literally stealing the truth's real meaning. So a den of thieves becomes the name for our inner world when this has happened. It's when our internal worship has been profaned, made selfish, self-serving, and built on a foundation of those twisted truths. It's the total corruption of that sacred space within us. So let's put these two opposing ideas right next to each other. Because this isn't just some abstract theory. It's about our own inner worship, the state of our own house. Here's the heart of it, right? We basically have two potential states of being inside of us at any given moment. On one side, you have the house of prayer, where our actions flow from love and our will wants to align with the divine. And on the other side, the den of thieves, where life is based on falsity and prayer becomes nothing more than a spiritual transaction, a way to get what we want. And this leads to some pretty powerful, self-reflective questions from our source. The first one really hits hard. Let's be honest. How often is what we call prayer actually just a disguised request, a wish list for our own will to be done? And the source pushes it even further. Are we trying to turn that sacred inner space, the Lord's house, into a kind of spiritual marketplace? A place where we try to negotiate and bargain with the divine to get the results we're looking for? And this all boils down to the ultimate question, really, of our entire spiritual posture. Are you trying to use the divine as a tool to get what you want? Or are you seeking to surrender, to allow the divine to work through you for a higher purpose? That is the fundamental difference. So what's the big takeaway from all this? How do we actually cultivate this house of prayer inside ourselves? Well, the conclusion pulls it all together into one final, incredible concept. Here it is, the ultimate point. True prayer isn't something we do at certain times. It's not an event you put on your calendar. It's something we are. It is a continuous state of being, where every single thought, every feeling, and every action flows from that inner worship that's based on love. Our source material summarizes this with a truly beautiful, poetic line. Prayer is the breathing of the regenerated soul. Just think about that for a second. It's not a conscious act you have to remember to do. It's as natural, as constant, as essential as breathing. It's the very life of a soul that's aligned with goodness and truth. And so we end right back where we started, with that verse from Matthew. But now it's turned completely inward. This leaves us with one final, deeply personal question to think about. Right now, in this very moment, if you look at your thoughts, your motives, your desires, what is your inner house called?